Welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates. Before continuing this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news from Manchester United. Man United transfer news. Marcus Rashford transfer statement issued as £35 million deal moves closer. Marcus Rashford remains the most high-profile name linked with a transfer before Monday's deadline, with the Manchester United forward revealing he will look for a new challenge. Marcus Rashford continues to dominate the headlines, but it remains unclear whether a potential buyer or loan club can be found before next Monday night's deadline. The out-of-favor forward has been linked with a move for much of the month, but on Tuesday, another potential suitor dropped out of the race to sign him. Elsewhere, United are pushing for a deal to sign young defender Patrick Dorgu from Lecce, with the Serie A club holding out for a fee of about £35 million to sanction the move this week. Here are the big stories from in and around Old Trafford as crunch time for the recruitment chiefs arrives. Rashford hire. Fenerbahce will not be signing Rashford before the end of the window, their vice president has confirmed. The Turkish giants, managed by ex-United boss Jose Mourinho, claim they have been offered the chance to sign the forward, but are not pursuing a deal this month. Actually, yesterday it was in the news that we are interested in him, Akun Ilikali told Sky Sports. I think Rashford is a fantastic player. I really like him. But at the end of the day, when you have some players in your team who play in the same role, it is not logical to get two players in the same position which are much better than other players. What I will say is that these types of players need to play. If he comes, then one of our players wouldn't be able to play. When it came in front of us, unfortunately we said no for this transfer. There is nothing that we are interested in him. Of course, there are some rumors that spread. I can say very comfortably that we are not interested, but he is a good player. Dorgu deal. Manchester United continue to hold talks with Lecce as they close on a £30 million deal for Patrick Dorgu. The Red Devils will continue to engage in discussions with the Italian side this week as they look to make their first major addition of the January transfer window. Lecce president Saverio Sticky Damiani had made it clear that the club didn't want to sell, but Dorgu is eager for the clubs to reach an agreement. United are in need of new recruits, and with Ruben Amorim playing a 3-4-3 system, the wingback position has become vital, and the team currently lack players who can naturally play in that role. Rivals state of play. There are only 5 more sleeps until deadline day, and while Manchester City have led the spending charge so far, a host of clubs are looking to boost their squad for the final third of the campaign. Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho appear. The Manchester United are taking a risk with their new squad size ahead of transfer deadline. The Man United squad has shrunk since the start of the season and cannot stay that size if they are to salvage their campaign. The first team profiles on the Manchester United website have been updated. Anthony and Ethan Wheatley now have monochrome headshots, and their statuses now read, on loan. And then there were five forwards. It's effectively 4 with Marcus Rashford out of the fold. Of those 4, one striker has not scored in 11 games and the other striker has 1 goal in 14 games. But United are still prepared to sell Alejandro Garnacho, their second highest scorer. At least Ahmad got a new contract. Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou said last week they are playing with fire if they do not reinforce their attack. So are United. They currently have a 24-man squad, including Rashford, Johnny Evans, Luke Shaw and Mason Mount, for players who last played more than a month ago. A 23-man squad is the number assembled for month-long international tournaments. United are gearing up for 4 trophy-chasing months. 24 players is insufficient. 8 years ago, Jose Mourinho allowed Morgan Schneiderlin and Memphis Depay to leave in the winter transfer window, and Bastian Schweinsteiger followed them out of the door in March. That trimmed United's squad from 28 players down to 25. United played with fire ahead of a run-in where they reached the League Cup and Europa League finals, as well as the FA Cup quarterfinals. Had United reached the semi-finals, they would not have had an available date in the calendar to play Burnley at Turf Moor due to their progression in Europe. Come April 1st, Matty Willock was on the United bench against West Brom, and it was not an April Fool. By the end of the month, Scott McTominay was booked in for an overnight stay at the Lowry as he was promoted to the first-team squad. Injuries had started to pile up, and 4 players, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Marcos Rojo, Ashley Young and Luke Shaw were on crutches for the Europa League final in Stockholm. McTominay, Axel Tuanzebe, Josh Harrop, Dimitri Mitchell and Joel Pereira made their full debuts in May. Academy debutant 250, Wheatley, was promoted to the first-team squad on the eve of the Community Shield in August, but he cameoed once in the League Cup against Leicester City before moving to runaway League Two leaders Walsall on loan last week. Harry Amass, bizarrely unused after a propitious pre-season, is still turning out for United in the FA Youth Cup. Of all the overseas youth signings to make, settling on a 17-year-old Paraguayan left-back when United already had the 17-year-old left-back Amass, signed from Watford a mere 18 months ago, was odd. Diego Leon will not join United until the summer. Reinforcing the left side remains United's focus this window, with discussions ongoing with Lecce over a possible deal for Patrick Dorgu. Lecce are in the relegation. Fabrizio Romano, Man United, book medical, for next January signing after Old Trafford visit and Arsenal snub. Manchester United are beginning to accelerate their transfer business as deadline day approaches. Manchester United have had a quiet January transfer window so far, but a number of deals could be completed ahead of Monday's 11 p.m. deadline. The Red Devils have signed Diego Leon from Cerro Porteño this month, with the Paraguay Youth International set to officially arrive in Manchester this summer. A deal for Patrick Dorgu has accelerated in the last 24 hours, with reports from Italy claiming an agreement has been reached between United and Lecce. The fee is said to be £29 million up front, with £4 million in add-ons after the Serie A club had knocked back two other offers from the Red Devils. United have sanctioned exits this month, with Antony heading to Real Betis on loan, while a host younger players have headed out to EFL clubs on loan. Ethan Wheatley was one of the most recent to depart as he headed to runaway League Two leaders Walsall until the end of the season, according to reports. The Red Devils have agreed a deal for their next January arrival. Man United, book medical, for Heaven United are close to finalizing a transfer for defender Aiden Heaven, according to Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano. He reported on X, Aiden Heaven to Manchester United. Here we go. Exclusive story from last week, confirmed as 18-year-old centre-backs set to leave Arsenal and join MUFC. Medical booked after he rejected new deal from Arsenal and Eintracht approaches. Agreement being formally sealed. As reported by the transfer expert last week, Heaven had been offered a new deal by the Gunners, but was tempted by United and took in the Red Devils' 2-1 win over Rangers in the Europa League on Thursday as he visited Old Trafford. Eintracht Frankfurt had made their interest in the player public, as CEO of the German club Marcus Rashford said earlier this month. We spoke to Arsenal. He's a really good prospect and we'll see if we can find a solution with him. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta was questioned about Heaven's future on Friday but remained coy. The 18-year-old from London made his senior debut for the Gunners earlier this season, as he came off the bench in a 3-0 at Preston North End in the Carabao Cup. Man United focusing on young talent. The Red Devils recruited Cheeto Obi Martin from the Gunners back in September and now look to have repeated the trick with a medical in place for Heaven. The Red Devils have always had a strong focus on youth players, something that was re-emphasized by new minority owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe following his purchase of a 27.7% stake in the club last year. I think in a way what I would rather do is try to sign the next Mbappe than spend a fortune trying to buy success, he said. It's not that clever buying Mbappe. Anyone can figure that one out. What's much more challenging is to find the next Mbappe or Jude Bellingham or Roy Keane. He continued. Manchester United considering swoop for Bayern Munich's Mathys Tel ahead of transfer deadline day. Manchester United are reportedly considering a late move for Bayern Munich forward Mathys Tel amidst uncertainty over the future of Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho. There remains a chance that Rashford will leave United before the close of the transfer window on February 3rd, having fallen out of favor under Ruben Amorim. Last Sunday's win over Fulham marked the 11th successive game Rashford has missed for United. After the final whistle, Amorim told reporters that he'd rather play the club's 63-year-old goalkeeper coach, Jorge Vital, ahead of Rashford. Several suitors have come forward for Rashford, but his mammoth wages, in excess of £300,000 a week, are hindering any deal from getting over the line. Garnacho, on the other hand, is attracting heavy interest from Chelsea and Napoli. While Chelsea are contemplating making a bid for him, Napoli have already had at least one formal offer rejected by United. The Argentine is believed to be open to departing Old Trafford amidst concerns over his role in Amorim's preferred 3-4-3 formation. If Rashford or Garnacho leave, United will almost certainly need to replace them to ensure Amorim isn't left short in the attacking department ahead for the rest of the campaign. According to Florian Plettenberg, the Red Devils are eyeing Tel. The Sky Germany reporter wrote on X, "Understand Manchester United considering entering the race for Mathys Tel in the event of a departure of Alejandro Garnacho or Marcus Rashford, following Tel's decision to leave FC Bayern before deadline day. Open race. But Man Utd and more teams are very well informed." It was Fabrizio Romano who broke the news that Tel has decided he wants to part ways with Bayern before the close of the winter transfer window. Chelsea are also admirers of Tel, who became Bayern's youngest ever goalscorer when he opened his account for the Bundesliga Giants at just 17 years and 126 days old. So far this term, the 19-year-old has made 13 appearances across all competitions, registering just one assist in that period.